Welcome back to Poppy's Corner. Today we're going to look at an interesting old fun gun from the 80s. This is an SWD M-11 9. Some people refer to these as a Mac 11. The originals were built by Military Armament Corporation, which is where the Mac came from. This was built by SWD, Sylvia and Wayne Daniels, who bought what was left of the companies when they sold out, and he lengthened the receiver a little bit. This is a semi-auto version. I've been seeing some videos of people bump firing these and thought that'd be pretty fun to try. It also has a barrel extension that goes here. We'll put that on when we get it in the backyard. But today we're going to look at a little issue with it. This is the original Zytel plastic magazine. And I'll show it's clear. Nothing in the chamber. What we're going to look at today is changing out the buffer. It says a buffer behind the bolt. It helps keep it from wearing out so fast. And you can buy these. A 5-pack I think was about $15 from a company called Practical Solutions. I hope that shows up. They have parts for these as well as the full auto versions. One of these today, the semi version, they're selling. They vary on Gun Broker. You may pick one up for $500 if you're lucky. You may pay $1,200 if you get in a bidding war. If you get a full auto version, you're looking at $8,000 to get you in the door. So we're sticking with semi. I don't have the money for the full auto version. These are real simple to strip. You have a 2-piece retaining pin here in the front, and you can turn this one on the left. And when you get it lined up correctly, it pulls right out. And if you'll hold the slide to the receiver, just bring this other side of your pin out, and then it'll separate just like this. We'll put this to the side. We won't be using it for a little while. You're going to bring it back like this, and the charging knob just pulls right out when you get it lined up with the big hole. Your bolt slides right out the back. We won't be needing this for a few minutes. We'll set it to the side. This is your extractor rod, or ejector rod, I should say. And if you'll notice, one end is flattened a little bit to keep it from sliding through here. Now, when these left the factory, they came with a bolt buffer installed. Leave that there in case I need it again. And they look like this. These are neoprene. They dry out over the years. As this one is 32 years old, it's gone. This is going to fit in here right up against this recoil plate on the front side. So when that bolt comes back, it's going to hit that buffer instead of being metal on metal. Now, to get it out, it can be interesting because you have to knock this little pin out. Let's see if I can hold it together and show you. There's a small little keeper pin right there. And see, once you get it out the first time, it's easy to put back in, but I cannot push it with my thumbnail. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to attempt to use this table clamp. And if I can get that in there and get it to where it will stay, And I'd like to rotate this so my pin's pointing down. Hopefully you don't see a bunch of stuff go flying here in a minute. But our next step is to block this rod up. This is an AR-15. Oh yeah, it looks like it's going to be perfect. It's a bench block for an AR-15, but you want something to support this rod while you knock the pin out. I'm going to start with an oversized punch. And give it a little tap. And that seems to have started it moving. Then we're going to try a little tiny punch just to see if it'll fit through there, and it will not. So I have a nail here that may be a little smaller. And it appears that it punched the little pin right out. So we're going to look, we want to make sure we don't lose that. Now we're going to be really careful and get that out of that clamp. And that comes out. And then let's just look at the size of this. It won't go over the spring, so we're going to take it this way. We're going to line it up, put it right there so the extractor rod will line up with this hole also. We'll slip the pin back, slip the rod back through the spring. We'll compress that spring a little bit. Let it go up inside the bolt. And once we get it lined up properly, it'll go right on there like so. So now that we have it in place, I'm going to attempt to put it back in my little vise. Trying carefully not to let that spring pop out of there. And my hole is somewhat lined up. So I'm going to take this tiny little pin. I probably should have ordered another one to have on hand. And just see if I can get that started back in that little hole. Once again, very carefully. Attempt to line that back up over that hole. It may be easier to take a little something and hold my pen, like this old hemostat back from my operating room days. Then again, a plain old pair of pliers may work. The key here is this is a tiny little hole and a tiny little pin. And we should probably have a spare on hand. try to clamp that in here nice and snug. It'd be nice if I could get it to stay straight up and down. We'll get that retaining pin in line and give it a little tap. Watching carefully. So after a fair amount of struggling, we'll try again with this needle driver to hold the little pin. It looks like it's lining up fairly close. We'll give it a little tap, and it's wanting to roll on me. I'm not real happy with that. So let's come over here and set it down a little deeper. Take some of that wanting to wiggle away from it. Uh-oh. Okay, we're back at it. It's 4 days later. As I said to start the video, I should have ordered some roll pins before I began this project. But that was on a Saturday. Today's Wednesday. Oh, these were shipped out Monday. It took 2 days to get here from North Carolina, so I'd say this is pretty good service. There are 4 left in here. To save time, I went ahead and installed the pin here to hold this recoil rod in place. So we're ready to put it back together and go. This table clamp and AR bench block were a big help in getting it all reassembled. So from here, it's your extractor rod. It has a flare on one end to hold it in place. And it'll slip right through the new bolt buffer that we put in. And it'll slide right into this little hole in the back of the bolt. The buffer doesn't look quite square on there, but once it goes in, it'll be fine. The main purpose of it is to keep the bolt from beating against the recoil plate in the back. So now it's going to hit this buffer. From here, we'll bring that in just far enough to put the operating knob in place. Make sure this is all lined up kind of square. It'll fit right in there. We'll put that retaining pin in. Put this retaining pin in. Make sure nothing falls apart. Empty magazine, just put it in there to carry it. And from now we'll take it out back and see if we can do a little rapid fire with it. I'd like to thank the nice folks at FDF Industries While I was on their website, I couldn't help it. I had to buy one of their shirts. Nice looking interpretation of the Gadsden flag with the AR in the middle, and they were on sale. These pins are like $2 a piece. If you have one fly off in there like I did, they're probably worth $20 a piece if you have a few laying on your bench, because it just caused me a 4-day delay. All right, that's it for the inside. We will take it out back now and try it out, see if we can run a few through it. Well, we made it out to the little back door range. We'll do a little function fire. This is a standard semi-automatic SWD M-11-9, often wrongly referred to as a Mac 11. Mac stood for Military Armament Corporation, which was one of the early manufacturers. This was made by SWD, which was Sylvia and Wayne Daniels, who had bought out the remaining inventory when RPB Industries went under, who had taken over for Military Armory. So I'm gonna just stick a mag in here and fire it for function to start with. I've never done any bump firing, but I watched some videos on it, and I stayed in the Holiday Inn Express one time, so I may be able to make it run, but we'll see. To start with, always wear your hearing protection and your eye protection. Keep your finger off the trigger until you're ready to shoot. So that's a simple lever for a safety. And we'll just see if we can hit the silhouette with it to start with. So now we're going to see if we can run it a little bit. Little jam right off the bat. Stove pipe. So all it wants to do is jam. With that, fairly disappointing. This is Wolf steel cased ammo. Well, it seemed to run pretty good there. And it's empty. It's a little PMC brass case. We'll give it a try. Once again, no finger off the trigger. Ready to roll. That's pretty good fun for an uncoordinated rookie like myself. As you can see, it'll run a little bit. There's a lot to learn about that technique. with the price of ammo today, I'd rather slow fire it anyway. Hey, thank y'all for watching. Putting up with me rambling again. As you can see, my videos go from one extreme to the other. I love all kinds of firearms. Well, be sure to hit that like button, subscribe. We're trying to get to 50. Thank y'all, and thanks for watching Poppy's Corner.